Hello, everyone. Jason here from J&N Collectors. It's been a minute since we recorded anything. We've had a vacation spread throughout, and then just haven't had a lot of extra time lately, so my apologies for that. But today, boys and I attended a show in Grand Rapids, the Legends Sports and Games Show, held on the second Saturday of every month. Legend Sports and Games, the owner is Lou Brown. So he puts on a really good show, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 tables, and just a really good blend of sports, Pokemon, and everything else. The shop has a lot of variety as well, but won't waste any time. We'll get right into the deals that we picked up today. So first deal's a little rough. Felt pretty confident without looking at the comps, and I think I probably overpaid just a little bit, but I don't have a couple of the cards handy. I'm working towards, and cannot emphasize enough, I'm in the very early stages of this. I'm working on the 2024 Prism Checkerboard set. Barely into it, but I found a couple cards for that set. One was a Braylon Allen rookie, so I think a fairly talented running back for the New York Jets. And the other card, I couldn't even tell you who it was off the top of my head, but it was a common. And then I picked up this Jalen McMillan, just trying to add just a little bit of value into the deal. And then the main card in the deal was this Mikal Bridges, Prism rookie and a PSA 10. And maybe this is just my own ignorance. If it is, I'm happy to own that. But the guy had a sticker of $15 on this. And so I thought, okay, he had 15 on this, the Braylon Allen for $5. The other checkerboard, I don't know, $2 or $3. And then I think he had $2 on this. I asked him if he would take 20 for everything, and he was cool with that. Pretty small deal. But I didn't realize how far Mikal Bridges has kind of fallen in terms of card value. Now, this is the type of card where, I'll stick this in a box and let it marinate for a while, but very shocking if you look at the recent comps on this. So that was the first deal of the day. I would say by far the worst deal of the day, but we got some better stuff coming, so get right into the next deal here. Approached a young man. I say young man, he was a grown man. Really nice guy. Had just a very few... very small number of baseball cards in his case, and what he had was mainly Ohtani. So one of the cards he had in the back was a polar bear auto, and I didn't really know much about this card, but I said, "How much is your Pete Alonso?" It was most of his cards had price stickers. This one just happened to not, and he's like, I haven't been able to find a comp for it anywhere, so. If you're able to find something, I'm happy to work with you. And then he's like, yeah, I don't really have much baseball, but I've got this, and I got a Paul Goldschmidt. I said, you got a Paul Goldschmidt? I said, it's kind of my main PC. He's like, really? Okay. So he goes to his case, and he pulls out this one, which at first, I didn't see this part here. So I'm thinking, it's a manufactured relic, and maybe it's gold because it's numbered, but then you see the ink there. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I ended up looking up the Alonso, and it was like a $30 card. And then this was, Goldschmidt was like, I don't know, 50 or 60. I don't remember exactly what the comps were on it. And initially I was just going to go with this one, right? I'm trying to downsize the PC a little bit. But then, my younger kid's sitting there like, Dad, what are you doing? Offer something for the Goldie. And so I'm like, would you take 25 for the Pete Alonso? He's like, yeah, I can do that. Because the comps were, I don't know, somewhere around 30. And then, I could tell he was trying to move out of baseball. And so I was trying to think, what would I be willing to pay for this where, I can get out of it. And, if I want to move it, no harm done. But if I want to keep it, that's cool too. I said, would you take 70 for the pair? And the guy was agreeable to that, so that was pretty cool. So, excited to do that. All right, next deal. This is a cool deal. Um, and then there were some other cards, some smaller cards, and then there was kind of another main card, but that's already moved. I'll explain that in a minute. But I've been on a really, really big Aaron Judge kick lately. I just think that he's obviously extremely talented, but with Ohtani in the National League now, with Juan Soto in the National League, like who's really gonna compete with this guy for MVP? And at least trips to the World Series. Not saying they'll win, but and two with Goldie going to New York, it's like, well, maybe I don't hate the Yankees as much as I used to. But I have a lot of respect for Aaron Judge, great power hitter, and that seems to do well in the market. So I've been picking up some cool Aaron Judge cards as I see them, and you'll see one more here before we're done today. So I picked up this, and then this right here, and probably 99.9% of card collectors have no idea who this guy is, but Caleb Bonham is I believe a shortstop prospect for the Chicago White Sox, drafted in the second round of the 2024 draft, and he happens to be a local kid. So we live in the west side of Lansing in a town called Grand Ledge. On the east side of Lansing, there's a town called Okemos, and that's where this young man grew up and played his high school ball. So just really cool to see that, see a local talent, and then pick up an auto there. So I got these two. This was stickered at 60, which, the recent comps are going in the 50 range. So I just showed the guy that, and he's like, yeah, I'll kind of work with you a little bit there. And then this was stickered at 10. And then the other card that I picked up in this lot was a 2018-19 Hoops Premium Stock Black Laser of Mo Bamba. And the Black Lasers are numbered 1 of 1. So I guess this is kind of a good lesson. When you see something like that, obviously you're not likely to find a comp for the specific card. But what I do is I look for a similar player. So what have other Black Laser 101s for, maybe younger, unproven guys, not rookies, because Mo Bamba was a rookie in, I believe, 17-18. But what are the comps for the others? So the guy had that stickered at $20, and I thought that was really low. And that was proven correct later on. I ended up leaving the Legends show, and we went to a trade event on the east side of the state in the afternoon, and I was able to move that there. So this is 50. The Bombo was 20. This was 10. Or actually, this was initially 60. I ended up getting everything. The lowest he would go was 70 on it. So I ended up moving the Bomba for 30. So I'm basically into these two for about $40. So that was cool. All right. Next deal, and I told you you'd see a little more Aaron Judge. There's this card. Pretty sweet. Topps Heritage Chrome. Absolutely love that set every year. This is a refractor numbered out of 575, 084 of 575. And this guy, the seller here had this stickered at 35. And so I looked up comps on it. These things are going in the 20 to 25 range. And so I showed him, and to his credit, he was able to adjust, and he was willing to, he came back at me with 25, and I said, can you do 20? And he's like, yeah, I'll do that for you. So I was able to get this for $20. I thought that was a really, really nice card, really good deal. So happy to have that. All right, so I also sold a good number of cards at this show. I was not set up, but just having some connections, which is a really helpful thing. That really helps. So I was able to move a decent number of cards there. As I stated earlier, we ended up leaving the show. I'm guessing, gosh, we got there around 8:30, and we left there somewhere around 10:15, in that range somewhere. And Then we traveled. It was probably 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours away to Howell, Michigan, to JD Sports Cards. It's a fairly small shop, but they were hosting a trade event, and it wasn't huge, but we showed up and just kind of walked around for a little bit. Sold to Mo Bamba there, and then ended up walking up to a table. And one thing that I talked with a buddy of mine about, as well as the boys, was I did not see much Joe Burrow at the show. And to me, Joe Burrow is one of those quarterbacks that every year, he's you could call him like Mr. July or Mr. August or Mr. National, something like that. But his values just seem to soar that time of year. So trying to pick up a few of his cards now before the NFL draft, before anything like that happens, I think is probably a fairly decent play. And I've found this this select white die cut, and not numbered, but and then you look at the back. The centering's pretty kind of fat over here and thin on the right, so probably not a grading candidate by any stretch, but still a nice looking card, especially on the front side. So I'm just going to focus on that for a bit. There was this, and there was another Prism checkerboard common. Again, I don't remember who it was exactly, but it was a fairly relevant player. But even those go for a couple $3 or whatever. And then you had a couple 24 Prism Kirk Cousins cards, which I ended up giving Noah. And so he had this sticker to 40. I could find a couple PSA 9s that went for 40. So with a lot of the raw stuff doing similar to PSA 9, I thought that was a reasonable number. But I asked him, what can you do for all four of these cards? And he said, how about $35? I said, done. So not any haggling there. It was a pretty easy deal. So I was able to pick up a Burrow at the end of the day. So just kind of recap, at least what I have left. I've got 3 Prism checkerboards for the set. Picked up the Mikal Bridges and the McMillan, along with 2 of the checkerboards, one of which is a Braylon Allen. I don't know if this is my favorite deal of the day, but it was certainly a fun deal. Getting the Alonzo and the Goldschmidt autos. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then we got the local kid for the White Sox. Hopefully he does pretty well. And then this cool Judge home field advantage. I definitely feel like these cards they're starting to gain some momentum, but if you compare them to a Downtown or Kaboom, they're still insanely underrated. So as I see these and I'm able to get them for a reasonable price, I think this is probably a smart play. Then the Judge out of $575, and then the select white die cut Joe Burrow. So yeah, that's what we got today. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've been to a show, maybe even this weekend, let me know what you picked up, and we will be back. We've got Lansing in a couple weeks, and that show, it's been at least a couple months since I really recorded anything. That show has catapulted into more of the 300 table range, so a lot of great stuff there. I'm sure we'll have a nice video after that one. So take care, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.